Hola y bienvenidos a todos. Welcome to the From Lost to the River podcast. I'm your host Richard. Soy inglés. Soy profesor de inglés. I'm also a language coach, father, husband, cat owner, friend, cousin, and many other identities that one cares to identify with. The recording that you are hearing right now is being made live from my sickbed. I currently am suffering from un gripe muy fuerte, also known as man flu. Most of the time it's just referred to as flu, but I'm a man, so it's called man flu. Man flu, the basic characteristics of are muchísimo quejándose. There's a lot of complaining, a lot of, oh my God, I'm dying, but at the moment I'm doing my ultimate best not to complain as much as you can probably hear my voice deserves. This is a podcast aimed at helping Spanish speakers who are learning English, who are at a phase in their language learning journey whereby they perhaps suffer from what's called in Spain que dirán, or miedo del ridículo, a little bit of paranoia, I guess, about how they may look to other people when they speak English. It's a common thing to hear in Spain where I live, that I'll often say to people who help me in a situation, say I'm in a situation, I'm speaking Spanish and I'm struggling, I'm lost for words, and then all of a sudden they'll start helping me. And I'll say, oh, fantastic, thanks so much for your help, you speak great English. And most of the time, not always, but most of the time, the reply comes back is, no, my English isn't very good. I don't like the way I pronounce things. I'm ashamed of my accent, etc., etc. And it's a very common theme that I hear a lot here. So I actually started the process of recording this podcast a long time ago. And the reason we're here today and recording this version of the first, I think this is the 65th version of the first episode, if I'm honest. And the reason we're recording it today, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there unedited like this, with this man flu voice, is because estoy harto del proceso, de los consejos, de la perfección, and there just seems to be so much advice out there, so many templates of the way to do things, that I'm going absolutely crazy. And I know this is a very cryptic way to begin a podcast series. I haven't delved into, that's a great phrase for you, to delve into, to investigate more, to dive into, to look into. All those explanations of of the phrase delve into, I just gave with more confusing phrasal verbs. So for that, I apologize. In the show notes, there'll be some explanations of what I've just said with some definitions. So have a look there and enjoy that. So I know I haven't delved into loads of background about me, and nor have I followed the traditional path of presenting what's about to happen. So normally I would tell you what I'm about to tell you. The best way to do that is the rule of three. So I would give you three main points of what today's episode will cover, and then I will slowly go through those points and explain them and present the actual bulk of the information. And then at the end, I would do a resume, a summary, and a recap of the things I've just told you. So the idea is, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And that is the classic traditional way of teaching, presenting, whatever it is you're into. Now, the problem for me, and you'll discover this if you haven't already, is that my mind is, shall we say, non-linear. My mind works a little bit like the branches of a tree. I do begin with a main trunk of an idea, a main point that I want to say, but as I'm saying it and as I'm meandering my way forward through this point and idea, I have other ideas, and those ideas make their way into my brain, and I have an impulse, shall we say, to actually speak my mind and say those ideas, and then those ideas lead on to other smaller branches of more ideas. And then before we know it, we're 7 or 8 points away from the original tree trunk, and no one can remember where we started. Now that's okay, because sometimes I can remember where we started, and I can go back to the original tree trunk if I feel it's interesting, if it's relevant to where we are, and if we want to go back there, and that's fantastic. And this isn't for everybody. For example, if you are still listening to this, I think looking at the recording, we're about 5 minutes in. If you're still here, enhorabuena, then possibly this podcast is for you. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to enjoy listening to Ungiri, who's lived in Spain for 9 years, and who hopefully will help you cross the line of vergüenza with your English and make you appreciate how good your English is. And if not, you're not here anymore. You can't hear what I'm saying, and it doesn't even make sense that I'm even speaking to you, because you've gone. So that in itself is an interesting concept to me. So I've lived in Spain for 9 years. I've been studying the language for 14 years. And up until about a year ago, I thought my Spanish was awful, horrendous. I was so worried about making mistakes and how that would make me look to other people that I just didn't speak at all. I would just stay quiet. Now, that's not to say that I haven't learned the hard way by going out and announcing to a shop full of people that I'd like to buy chicken, but getting the letter wrong at the end of chicken, making it mean something else in Spanish. You'll hear that story in one of the episodes. It's called The Chicken Story. Have a listen to that. And that concept of la raíz del miedo is an area that I discuss at length with some of the guests that you'll hear throughout the series. By the way, I just want to congratulate you. You are officially más o menos, more or less, halfway through the first episode. So well done for getting this far. I hope you are following along nicely with the level of English that you are listening to. Having passed the halfway point, I just want to bring things back to the original trunk of the tree where I was going with all this. And that was that I can no longer follow the templates and systems that everybody is advising me to do. Because I believe the internet is so full of advice right now, and full of gurus and follow this and hack that. And we're drowning in advice. And I know this may sound hypocritical of me, because I'm a language coach and teacher, and my services offer to help people, and I guess that in itself is advice. But I'm coming at this from a different angle. I'm coming at this from the point of a language learner myself. Started learning a language at the age of 34, and therefore I have not gone through the grammar-heavy schooling system of being forced to learn and remember a certain exact formula of the way something should be said from a book, and felt the trauma, I guess, or the shame of getting those things wrong in tests and exams, and therefore 9s and 10s as your notas, your marks. 9s and 10s are great, amazing, well done. 4s, 5s and 6s, making mistakes is bad, muy mal, that's terrible. And I think we carry this shame through life with everything we do. Unless we do something absolutely perfect, great, right, that's amazing, then we feel bad about, to give it its most simplest descriptive word, we feel bad about it, right? And the core of where that comes from is from when we were kids. And we'll go into that in more depth throughout the series. But I am here to say, tú puedes. Tu nivel de inglés es muchísimo mejor de lo que tú piensas. Lo importante es comunicarse. And I know we all want to improve, and we want to get better, and we want to pronounce things in a more understandable way. I agree with that. I'm all for that. And my aim is to help people go easy on themselves, and to say, if you shift the focus from perfection to communication, and you can change that, cambia el chip in el cerebro, like if you can change that in your mind, and you are exposing yourself to English as much and as effectively as you can for the time that you have to dedicate to it, then poco a poco, the results will take care of themselves. I just want to help people get over the line of, I can't speak English because they're just not going to understand me. It's crazy to me how many people that I meet here in Spain have an awesome level of English but think they don't. And I'm not here to piss on your feelings, right? I'm not trying to discount how you feel. I'm not going to say you're feeling wrong and you're not right to feel that way. You're okay to feel the way you feel. That's up to you. I'm not in your head. But what I would like to say is, we often don't compare ourselves to a benchmark that is lower in quality and standard than our own. In order to improve and get better, the human mind looks to a better version, or I don't like this word, a perfect version, and we aim and strive for that. And my argument is, if we're always using this perfect comparison, or in the case of language learning, this speak like a native or be fluent in X amount of time, if we're always chasing that elusive ideal, then in my opinion it becomes detrimental and has a negative impact psychologically on us, and we therefore stay in the shadows of not wanting to speak up and communicate in English, in your case, because we feel we're not good enough, because we feel our colleagues can speak better than us, when actually, when it comes down to it, tú puedes, you can do this. And there is the core of what I'm trying to say. And yes, you can say you're a hypocrite, because even that in itself is advice, and that's fine for you to think that. But again, I'm trying to just say, listen, from my heart of hearts, having been in a country for almost a decade, and I've not developed my Spanish in a way that I know I could have done if I had have spoken up more, made mistakes, swam in the pool of the language and just got out there and spoke, instead of being the quiet guy in the corner that can't open up and speak. And from a guy that used to be a stand-up comedian and getting on stage, and the confidence that I have to present and speak and make people laugh, to go from that guy to have a personality transplant and all of a sudden not have a word about anything, it's been very, very challenging and difficult for me. And I guess that's why I'm here. I want to just say to people, listen, it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. There are ways you can get better at this. Even though you don't live in an English-speaking country, it doesn't matter. Listen to more English, get involved, let's make it fun, and you can get there. The next point I'm going to say is, and this is following the rules of what everybody else does, but it'll be rude of me not to. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please share it with anyone that you think, oh, there's the air conditioning turning off. I'm going to leave that in anyway. Please share it with anyone you think that it'll help as well. Leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. Leave a review. 5 stars would be awesome. 4, thanks very much. Leave a 1 if you don't like it. But I'll tell you what, if you've got this far and you've listened so far to the end of this and you don't like it and you leave a 1-star rating, that's, wow, you eres una persona muy interesante. But they're out there. People like that are out there. So good for you. Good for you. Good for you for investing this much of your life listening to me and then saying, I don't like this guy. Just some consejos for next time. Don't listen to the rest of it, right? Just move your thumbs around on your phone and choose something else. There's loads of other things on the internet, tons. I'm not forcing you to listen to me. Oh, anyway, there we are. That's another story for another day. So there we go. Thanks so much for listening. ProCoachEnglish.com is where you'll learn more about me and ways you can work with me. You can message me through LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram and TikTok and stuff as well, but I spend more time on LinkedIn. So message me there if you want to have a chat. Let me know if you've enjoyed the episode, and have a wonderful day, night, whatever time of the clock it is that you're listening to this podcast. I don't know the power of the internet. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning. If it's 4 o'clock in the morning, go to bed, go to sleep, turn it off. Insomnia's chronic, so let's, don't do that. If it's not 4 o'clock in the morning, great. Let me know actually what time it is, and we'll start a little conversation that way. Yeah, message me on LinkedIn, tell me what time it is, and enjoy the rest of whatever it is, wherever you are. Thank you so much for listening. It's been emotional. I'm so happy we got this far. The next time you listen to me, my voice may sound different, who knows. But yeah, there we go. Love to all the best. Bye for now. Adios.